Hello, and welcome back to another podcast episode with Brittney Bundes. You are listening to the Brittney Bundes Podcast, where we empower people through entrepreneurship. And today, you may actually hear some background noise. I want to just put that out there. I am sitting in the car. It's raining. I'm actually waiting for my son to come out for his appointment. I pulled up a little bit early so that I wouldn't have to rush. And so that I could still have time to record this podcast, because I have family coming into town and I won't be able to record later on tonight, but I do want to stay consistent and bring you all another podcast episode. So with that being said, I hope that you all are doing great. I'm going to ask that you share this podcast episode. Today we're going to be talking about ways to redeem your business. I'm going to ask that you share the podcast with your friends, your family, strangers. Just share it for me, please, to grow this platform. It helps to spread the word about entrepreneurs that have already been on this platform, their businesses, their tips, their stories, their struggles, how they've overcome obstacles. It also helps to strengthen the entrepreneurial community by giving insight and tips and motivation and encouragement and resources. So go ahead and take a moment to share the episode, and I'll be back with you all in just a moment. All right. Thank you for that. So today, like I mentioned, we're talking about how to redeem your business. It is so important that we look for ways to redeem ourselves. We look for ways to redeem our business if we find that we're in a place in our life or in our business where we're not completely satisfied. There's always room for growth. There's always room for improvement, but there also are times where we're satisfied with the path that we're on. We're satisfied with our growth level. We're satisfied with the place that we are at in our journey. And there's times that we may feel the complete opposite. So if you're feeling the complete opposite, instead of giving up, I do have some ways that you can redeem your business. Now, I do want to say this too. I am an advocate for pivoting your business, meaning if you are doing something and you've been doing it for a while and you're like, look, this is not what I envision it to be. This is not where my passion truly is. I really don't see a fulfilling future for this business venture. It's okay to pivot your goal. It's okay to pivot your vision. It's okay to pivot your business. I talk very frequently about how I was in my salon sitting there one day and realizing that, wow, this experience is not what I thought it was. And it wasn't that I didn't want to give it time. It wasn't that I wasn't patient or realistic with the expansion goals that I had, but it was the simple fact that I knew one of my goals was to be able to get back time. And sitting at the salon took up a lot of the time. And I wanted to do some of the same work that I was doing, but I didn't want to have to be at the salon. And I didn't want to necessarily have to hire anyone to sit at the salon either. And so I thought about different reasons why I initially opened my salon. I thought about what my end-term goal was. I thought about what my passions are. I thought about what fulfilled me, what didn't. I thought about my customers. I thought about the people that were working with me. And ultimately, I decided to pivot that salon idea to what I'm doing now, which is being an advocate for mobile money. So being able to receive income and still help people, still build businesses, still find my fulfillment through another avenue in the entrepreneur realm. So you can do something similar to that as well. You don't have to stick with something that you're not wanting to stick with. Starting a business is not a life sentence. It shouldn't feel like that, okay? So if you are at the point where you're like, look, I like my business, I don't want to give it up, but I feel like I have fell off. I feel like maybe the relationships between my customers and I aren't there. I have not been as consistent as I should have been. So the reliability and the trust factor with my business is not where it should be. I don't have the best quality for products, and that has tarnished my brand a little bit. So this is, these are some reasons that people may consider revisiting, redeeming their business and their plan. First thing that I want to go over is have an open mindset. Whenever you're looking at redeeming something, the first thing that you want to do is go back to the drawing board as far as your mind. Figure out exactly what it is you're wanting, because sometimes we get started with things and we don't even have a clear idea of what we really want. So it makes it very challenging to stick toward a goal or even work toward a goal, let alone stick to it, just even get started with it, because we don't really know why we're doing what we're doing. That's why I talk about finding the why. Why are you doing this each day? Not because, and I hope the reason is more than a monetary value, because like I mentioned in some other episodes, if money is the only reason that you're working, it's going to be very easy to get discouraged when the money isn't rolling in. A lot of entrepreneurs can attest with me that they have started their businesses, and there have been times that in seasons that their business was slower than others, that their business was slow. Okay, they did not receive the income that they thought they were going to receive. I have those periods, and that's one of the reasons that I talk about having multiple streams of income, because if there's a season where my hair isn't selling through badchickhair.com like I want it to sell, I still am responsible for bills. I'm still responsible for children. I'm still responsible for myself. I still have to have money circulating so that I can continue to live comfortably, right? And so I get it. I get that you're going to have ups and downs with your business. And that's one of the things that I want a lot of entrepreneurs to get as well. Because if you're at a down season and you're like, hey, this is not yielding any money, if that's your only goal or motivation, that may discourage you and take you out of the business. Or let's say that you get a lump sum of money. A lot of times we don't talk about this. Let's say you land a great job. Or let's say that you get a huge bonus from a job you're already working. And you're like, look, at this point, I have enough money to put the down payment on my house. At this point, I have enough money to get the car that I want. At this point, financially, I'm good. So I know I was going to start this business, but I feel secure in my job and I feel secure in what I'm doing. I have enough money. So the business is not my priority. So you want to make sure that you're actually finding something that you're passionate about and that you are okay with doing, even if the money is not there initially. Now, of course, if you're not in a nonprofit, you are looking, your goal is to make money. You're looking at ways to generate revenue. But I don't want that to be the only focus for the reasons that I mentioned, okay? So make sure you have an open mind. Be open to suggestions. You don't have to take every suggestion that you get. Be open to hearing different experiences from other people. Be open to trying new things. Sometimes when we get set in our ways, we don't want to try anything else. We're like, look, this has worked for me, and that's what's going to continue working. I remember I got like this with Sezzle. Sezzle is a buy now, pay later option that I was using for, I think it was like years. I made videos on Sezzle. I used Sezzle personally. I was promoting Sezzle. Like, you couldn't tell me anything about Sezzle. And then when I got introduced to Klarna for Business, I was like, Klarna may be a good option, but no, I'm just going to stick with Sezzle. And when I started getting more of my customers coming to me asking, hey, or even emailing me, hey, do you guys accept Klarna? It caused me to open my mind frame to accepting more than just Sezzle. And eventually I started realizing that most of my customers weren't using Sezzle. They were actually using Klarna. So I'm like, okay. So I changed that portion of my business. But first, before I changed it, I had to have an open mindset about the whole idea of switching my payment merchants. And so it worked out for the better. There are some changes that we have been so reluctant to make that we don't even notice are holding our businesses back. You may be using an older, outdated way of marketing, and that way may have worked for you great. It may have done a wonder for you 5 years ago. But because it's a different time and there's different tools out there, being open to trying some new things may actually benefit your business. And I'm talking to me as well. I'm not just talking at you all, but I'm always looking at ways to become more active, looking at different ways to do different things. Now, I'm not saying you have to change up everything, because some things are fundamentally needed for your business to grow. And some things just don't age. Some tactics, treating people with respect, building your business on relationships, marketing. You may change how you do those things, but those are fundamentally good values that successful businesses have been built on in the past and that they're still being built on today. So make sure that you have an open mindset to try new things. The next thing that I want to talk about is identify problems and find solutions. So if you're looking to revive your business, figure out what went wrong. What happened? Why is my business like it is now? If I don't have quality inventory, why did I choose this vendor? When have I searched for another vendor? What can I do to fix this problem? If I don't like the lack of communication or consistency with my business, how can I make sure that I'm showing up this time? What can I do to rebuild trust? What can I do to get my engagement back? So figure out what the problems are that cause you to be at this position in your business, and then find solutions to pair with the problem. I would literally sit down, write down all of the problems that you can think about, and then the next day strategize solutions. And then you may not be able to get done with all of the solutions in a day, but start thinking about different ways that you can fix the problems in front of you. Because what our mind does sometimes is when you're least expecting it, if you put something in your mind, especially if you're praying about it, what happens in my case is sometimes when I least expect a solution to come to me, it comes to me. I may be about to brush my teeth and then a solution comes to me, so I go and jot it down. Or I may be about to pick my son up from school and then a solution comes to me. So it's important to always keep something around you where you can document your notes, even if you're just opening up your phone and leaving a voice memo, even if you're just writing a note. But it's important to know those problems. Why did we get here? Don't ignore that. We want to understand why we got here so that we know what not to repeat again. And we also know what to do, what worked and what didn't work. All right, the next tip that I have is learn your customers. Okay, so we all have a different target audience. Some of us have the same target audience, but a lot of us have different target audiences. One of my friends, they have a business and they're in a completely different industry than I am. Their target audience is different from my target audience. I had to grow to learn my customers. I had to grow to learn my target audience because that helps me shape how I go forward with marketing. It helps me shape how I go forward with my policies. It helps me shape how I go forward with my newsletter. So not knowing who I'm marketing to is going to be very challenging to market effectively and efficiently if I don't know who I'm marketing to. So narrow down and figure out who your target audience is. Also, learn your customers. Take time to ask additional questions. Take time to understand where they're coming from. Take time to build those relationships, because that's one of the ways that you're going to initiate and encourage repeat business. You want to know what your customers are wanting. You want to know what to expect from them. You want them to know what to expect from you. So it's all about building that good, consistent relationship. The next tip that I want to go over is reset your goals, reset your focus. On YouTube, on my channel, Brittney Bundes, check it out after this if you have not already. I recently posted a video earlier this month going over ways to regain your focus, how to get refocused, okay? And so it's important that when you are looking at rebuilding your business, when you're looking at rebranding, when you're looking at redeeming, you want to make sure that you are refocusing your business. Okay, so let's go ahead and reset our goals. Let's go back to the drawing board, like I mentioned in the beginning of this podcast. What are some things that I'm aiming to do? What am I looking to have done by next week? Put some time frames on it. Put some deadlines together. You want to make sure that every day you're getting up, you're working toward closing one of your goals. You don't want to get up and not live with any intention. There are so many people that get up and they wing it. You can ask them, hey, what's your plan for your business? I don't know. I was just planning on posting on Facebook. Post, that's great. But what is your plan? What are you doing each day to move you toward those goals? And the truth is, not everyone is as disciplined as they need to be a successful entrepreneur. It does take discipline. It may seem like it doesn't, but in order to consistently show up, which we've talked about on this podcast platform as well, you have to be consistent. You have to be devoted. You have to have a clear plan as to what direction you're moving in. You have to be intentional. Okay? If I just got up and I said, hey, today I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just hoping for the best. No, I need to make sure that I'm sticking to my deadlines. Today, I need to publish a podcast episode. So even though I have some other things going on today, I had to figure out when's a good time for me to record this podcast. When's a good time for me to edit the podcast? When can I have it posted? And I need to make sure that I have all of that stuff aligned. You know what I mean? So it's really important to reset your focus and also reset your goals. Get back into the game with your business. Get back focused. Get back zoned in. Cut out a lot of the distractions that you've been focused on. If you've been slacking on planning for your business, but every day you go home and you watch a Netflix series that takes about 3 to 4 hours, you may want to reconsider what you're doing and how you're spending your time so that you can put your attention and your time and effort back into some things that are really going to change your lifestyle and also bring you fulfillment from doing something that you actually enjoy doing. When you do something that you enjoy doing, A lot of times it's not even just the money factors into it, but you really feel a different way getting up every day, working toward a goal that is going to bring you closer to the life that you want to live. Okay, it's a completely different feeling. And then you throw in the money, and you throw in the lessons that you're learning, the experience, you throw in the ability to help other people, you throw in the inspiration, you throw in all of this stuff, and you feel differently. It's a good feeling to have. All right, the last thing that I want to go over before I wrap it up here is get funding if you need it. So recently on this platform, I've been doing different segments on Sundays talking about credit, talking about building credit, talking about credit awareness. Last episode, I believe I talked about what is the most common mortgage type for credit for borrowers with challenged credit. And we went over that. So I talk a lot of things credit, but one of the things that I want to mention to you all is if you're not focused on your credit right now or focused on financial awareness, financial stability, you want to make sure that you're focused on that, because so many businesses go out of business because they don't have the funding needs that they require to move them to the next level. Let's face it, business is not free. As much as we want to talk about how you should get started with business, we also want to talk about how there's costs a lot of times associated with different businesses. Now, I'm a firm believer that you need to do what you can with what you got. So that means if you don't have all the money for a website right now, still get started selling. Be creative on different platforms that you're going to sell on. I made a video on my YouTube channel at Brittney Bundes a few weeks ago going over how you can transition from your website to selling solely on social media. So even if you don't have a website, I went over tips in that video on how you can sell solely on social media. So there's ways to work around what you don't have, but it's also important to acknowledge that sometimes we don't move forward because we're waiting on funding. And if we don't have the credit that we need, if we don't have the financing that we need, or let's start with the credit again, let's take it back. If we don't have the credit to even get the financing that we need, if we don't have additional income so that we can take from the money that we're getting and invest it into our business, if we don't have anyone that's donating to our business, how are we going to get the funding that we need? So it's important to make sure that everything is in line. Get your ducks in a row. Make sure that you're focusing on more than one area, that you're looking at how to improve your life altogether. Set money aside. Start rebuilding your credit, because a lot of times when you're going for business funding, especially if you're a newer business, the loan officer, the institution that you're going to, whoever is writing up that application for you, they're going to put your personal information down there a lot of the times, because they're going to get an idea of your credit worthiness based on your personal credit report. Okay, so it's important to start working towards that as well. So get the funding that you need. Start investing in your business financially if that's what you need. Start being more intentional on how you can grow other revenue streams, so that even if your business or your job doesn't produce any additional income for you, let's say you're working, but all of your funds, your whole check goes to bills, and you don't have anything left over every check. There's so many Americans living like that, check to check. Figure out what you can do to start getting more income. So, okay, my check goes to my bills. This business is going to take some time to get off the ground. Plus, I'm needing money to invest in it so that it could be at its fullest potential. So I'm also going to look into affiliate marketing. I'm also going to create an ebook and sell that. I'm also going to look at maybe taking up a second job. I'm also going to look at doing drop shipping with a company where they provide me a website and they already have the products, and pretty much all I need to do is promote. So think about different ways that you can generate income and get funding for your business. I really hope that this podcast episode helped. If you would like to be a guest on the Brittney Bundes Podcast, I'd love to have you. Please reach out to me via email at btalks@yahoo.com. Also, be sure to follow me on social media. I am on Instagram at Brittney_Bundes. That is Brittney, BRITTNEY _Bundes, BUNDLES. I am on Facebook, Brittney Bundes, YouTube, Brittney Bundes, and Twitter, Brittney Bundes, or X, formerly known as Twitter, as Brittney Bundes. I do want to thank you all for tuning in, and until next time, I'll talk to you all in the next podcast episode.